up a little at the end table, if you will. So where would you like to see the map go to for this?
It's a hard one. It is really a hard one. I do not know the mindset of the Czech Republic. I do not know how they feel about it. But if they want to take it, you know, if they still want to take the series home, I think we're going to go for another standard battleground because they actually had this game on lock. It was just due to wrong shot calling and a tiny mistake there at the end that really cost it.
Now that they have been eliminated, there are two ways to approach it. There is the, let's go standard again. Let's try and show that we are a strong team and make up for the mistakes we made in game one. Or there's the United Kingdom way. Let's pick Junkrat, everybody. So I'm expecting, let's say, Haunted Mines.
We are going to go with the standard route. At least map-wise, we're going to Infernal Shrines here as our map number 2.
Okay, I like this approach. I mean, as much as I would have loved another UK Gong Show here at the Nexus Games, I think another standard round is cool to see because maybe the shot calling has been refined right now a little bit. Maybe the drafting goes a little bit more towards a non-Cassia way. And I still believe the Czech Republic has what it takes to take this game, maybe even still the series 2-1.
I did a descriptor of that entire draft as the non-Cassia way. But like you said, there's a really good chance Czech Republic looked super good in that entire match. So maybe with a slightly different draft, maybe with a little bit of shot calling improvements, which they will have learned from their mistakes, they might be able to take this series.
I don't even think that Cassia was that bad. It was just like them not paying attention to a couple of things there at the last boss call. Kenny on the Rhaegar was completely out of mana. They weren't really going in as a whole unit. So, I don't know.
Yeah. So what about you, Bakery? What would you like to see changed, if anything, other than the Cassia, as we have beaten that one to death now?
I think honestly that's it. They were so close, but the team comp in the end just slightly let them down. So I think do exactly the same thing. Czech Republic, keep your head on, keep focusing, and they can take the Netherlands in a standard game.
And guys, we do have a very quick delay, but that you can still be voting for this next coming up map. You can still vote if you think that the Netherlands are going to be able to shut out the series with that 2-0, then you can use the code in chat, #NLWin. If you think that the Czech Republic, though, have what it takes, and they've shown that they potentially do, you can use that code, #CZWin. Let's head into the draft, guys, and see where this match is going to go.
Yeah, and the fan support here for the Czech Republic team has been so enormously big that I'm pretty sure now with that splendid performance, especially in the early mid-game, we're going to see a couple more votes coming in. And it wouldn't surprise me maybe see a 60-40 in favor of the Czech team.
We will definitely keep an eye on it as, like I said, we are into the draft and the Czech Republic going with the first ban. So this was a Netherlands map choice.
All right, Abathur being denied. Is the Netherlands a team, though, that has a dedicated Abathur style? Have we seen it before?
I mean, not necessarily, but at the same time, Abathur is one of those heroes that's so strong if left unchecked. I'm perfectly fine with them taking that out and just keeping it standard.
Exactly. Czech Republic, they also banned it last game, I think, as well. So they just don't want to deal with that potential wild card that is the Abathur.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely a trend we can see here in the Nexus games. Due to the fact that teams only had a certain amount of time to practice together, global heroes, especially sneaky ones like Abathur or the Vikings, can sometimes really mess with communications and cause a lot of confusion. And it's just a thing of comfort as well to sometimes go for stuff that you don't want to play against.
So we see Dahaka banned out. Global's being removed from this map. It isn't the largest of maps, but it is still sizable that global rotations can be a huge deal, as is Wave Clear, as Tassadar makes it into the draft.
I'm surprised Tassadar actually makes it through. Infernal Shrines is a fantastic map for Tassadar because he gives great early game control, and once you hit that level 16 spike, he is an absolute terror on the shrine. So definitely one of the better maps for Tassadar, who is one of the best heroes in the game right now.
Yeah, especially with the resurgence of the Psystorm build that gives you so much control over the shrine areas, not just in terms of damage, but also in terms of mana regen. You can really cover a lot of ground, and we've seen that times and times again on Infernal Shrines, so great point.
As the Netherlands go as standard as can be, Rhaegar and ETC, two heroes on the other team in the first game, but they're able to grab it for themselves.
Yeah, Greymane most likely not being picked here because of that Tassadar. Greymane much prefers when there are less clutch tools that can save someone when he dives in.
All right, so what I would like to see here is maybe a similar approach that Poland showed us in game number 2. A lot of AoE zoning, maybe put in an Arthas relatively early on. Go for the Stukov, go for those heroes that can really keep enemies at bay and allow you to finish the map objective before anything else happens.
Speaking of finishing the map objective, Sonya and Tassadar together, with the help of those Greymane cocktails, the Czech Republic have insane clear for those shrines.
That's true. That's definitely true. I mean, the Greymane is such a staple. He's been picked in almost any situation here by a lot of teams and has performed so well.
I'm pretty sure if we probably looked at the statistics, Greymane would have probably something like 97% pick rate, and the ones he wasn't picked, he was banned. So he's definitely popular.
And I'm pretty sure despite the large sample size, he would still have a very decent win rate.
Yeah, definitely. He's a strong hero, and it's performing well in tandem with that. I'm looking at our Dutch team here, and I'm thinking, what do they want to pick? Because they have the issue of their preferred ranged assassins right now are not good on the Infernal Shrines objective. So possibly they might have to go into something like a Leoric and pick stuff like Greymane and like Li Ming for that double reset.
I would love to see a Malthael potentially for the Netherlands team. I think right now there's a lot of stuff, or not a lot of stuff, that can counter him too well. You know, no crowd control, really, no silences, etc. And keep in mind that in those shrine phases as well, all those skeletons are going to be so huge as extra damage and healing tools.
Ariel is removed here. Very rarely makes it into the draft at all, but currently in the bans. What do you think?
Interesting ban. This probably shows that the Czech Republic are going to go for a team fight composition, and they do not want the Valor Oriel combo throwing anything off for them.
Yeah, this could be a ban to, as Bakery said, make the sustain war go in their favor. Ariel doesn't really rely on mana. She's so good at keeping multiple people alive at the same time.
Yeah. It also does lower the possibility of potential ghoul dance or something like that, which Horrify can be a great counter to Sonya styles of play.
Look at that. Doesn't that remind you of the Polish draft?
It reminds you of what you said about the Polish draft and of the Polish draft. So very well called, dude. As we do see the Chromie and the Stukov, with currently no cleanse except for Brightwing, I believe, and Lily. We can never forget the Lily.
No, you can't forget about her as long as she's, you know, still in her old form here. She did receive a rework, but it's not here.
She did, but Brightwing still would be pretty reasonable for the Czech Republic. They would suffer for burst healing, but the Phase Shield can make up for that. But then they would have to choose between Phase Shield and Cleanse to deal with that Chromie if Chromie was to go for Temporal Loop.
And it's not just Chromie, it's Stukov as well. As we saw from the Haunted Mines game that Poland did play, it's very scary going up against Poland.
So not the Brightwing. The Karazim coming in, and Palm is a very good tool for dealing with those Chromie styles. But if you're too early, and it does still proc by, say, someone like ETC in your back up against the target, then Chromie can set up with that Divine Palm.
I think we saw Team Spain play very aggressively against Team Poland with a Sonya leap, etc. I think Team Czech Republic just put it on another level even, with the Karazim joining the fray, providing additional pressure for the Chromie backline.
So do you guys think that this could be an alternate build, Karazim, Transcendence or Insight maybe?
I'm definitely expecting Iron Fist. Yeah. She's going to be diving onto the Chromie, onto the Stukov, even onto the Rhaegar, and pressuring Malthael as well. So if it wasn't Iron Fist, I would be very disappointed.
We could certainly dream, but like you said, that pressure that we could see from the Karazim is very high. He has good protection with the Divine Palm. If that's what he goes for, we could be seeing a 7-sided strike Karazim for his own self-protection and, of course, the extra damage.
All right, so the chat results are here.
They are.
And I think the Czech Republic has lost a couple of the followers they had for game number 1. Only 37% rooting for them. But Bakery, if you compare the draft to the game 1, do you think the draft looks a lot better right now for the Czech Republic, or is it gotten worse?
I think the difference with this draft is that both teams are playing something that doesn't look like it's going to be comfortable for them. They're both a bit weird. I'm looking at the Dutch team, though, and I'm saying they have absolutely no one for the Sign, whereas the Czech Republic have the Sonya. So if the Czech Republic understand the PvE macro game and understand how to rotate off of the Sign, then they should have the better draft. And I'm voting for them. I believe in them.
You're voting for the Czech Republic. How about you, Kendrick?
I will have to root for the Dutch team because they basically had the same thought process during the draft as I did, and I got to go with them.
I like the Karazim to put pressure on the Chromie, but I do not like the lack of cleanse. I am leaning with the Netherlands as we head into game number 2. And Kendrick, who is the team on the left?
The team on the left is Team Netherlands with Atmos on the Stukov. 6 is playing the Chromie. We have Zavalosh on the Rhaegar, his trademark hero. We have B-Guy on the ETC, and Dakomikron plays Malthael.
With the slow-mo fell beast there. As we see on the right-hand side, it is the Czech Republic with Deathra on that Grey Mage, Kenny on the Karazim, Zargonis playing the Tassadar. Muradin is being played by Resmex, and in the top lane, it's going to be Thray on that Sonya.
It's a very nice alliteration, isn't it? Kenny on the Karazim. Kennyzim.
Kennyzim. Yeah, I like it. You are absolutely right here.
Let's see if we can make that a thing depending on how well Kenny plays.
Kennyzim, yeah, and if I see him in open division, he plays it again, I will absolutely carry that over. But now though, level 1 talents, we see Fear the Reaper coming in for the Malthael, the Lightning Bond for Rhaegar, helping him with those Mercenary Cap potential, and the Growing Infestation for Stukov.
Yeah, there's normally 2 ways you can see Stukov build their talents these days. It's, you know, the Lurking Arm route, or it is the Posture route, where you go for a lot of W talents and especially the root later on.
Yeah, and that oh, hang on, Tassadar does not dimensional shift, very brave, but he is able to survive through that. Takes a lot of damage from that Pustule, but the like I said, the Pustule talent does allow him to go for the extra auto attack range. That is sort of the I want to play safe build. This is the I want control build, as Deathra has to tank through.
Yeah, we were correct with our prediction as well. Iron Fist Karazim it is, and you know, if you just take a quick look at the enemy team's roster here for the Netherlands, it makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of squishy heroes in the backline, Stukov, Chromie, Rhaegar respectively, and look at Kenny go. He's trying to punch his way to victory right now.
Yeah, and we actually have potentially the 2 best punch-worthy supports in this game. Stukov versus Karazim.
Oh, yeah.
They will be bashing on each other as much as possible. But Kenny, so far, not able to do enough damage to lock down and get through all of that Stukov healing.
If Karazim and Stukov had an arm wrestling duel, who would win that?
Depends which arm.
That depends, right?
If it's the third arm, the infested arm,
well dodged.
Absolutely Stukov. If not, then I've got to lean towards Karazim.
I mean, we all know.
He is swole.
We all know that Zari would probably
would crush them both easily with no contest.
She is the strongest woman in the world, after all.
Yeah, it's a very heavy gun that she has to carry here. As
Body blocks almost. Oh no!
Down. Good kill by Deathra, but the silence. He gets out though with the disengage, and down goes Stukov too. Once again, we're seeing the Czech Republic begin to control the early game.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Czech aggression here right now. It was a little bit unfortunate though for the Netherlands, because I think Atmos on the Stukov unintentionally body blocked the Chromie here a little bit, who was already on the retreat, but there's only so much you can do, because by the same token, you want to be in a good spot to land your own abilities. Dakomikron here with a nice juke on that Stormbolt, because that could have been his end, probably. So, yeah, as you said, the Czech Republic turning on the heat here in this early game.
Chromie not able to land the shots here. She obviously wants to land with standoffs, build stacks, and those Dragon Breaths to try and, you know, get kills. As we see the Dimensional Shift having to be used, Deathra, once again, the second he sees Atmos putting the pressure onto him.
That was a question of milliseconds there. If that Lurking Arm had gone down a little bit sooner, then Tassadar couldn't have used the Dimensional Shift, and maybe they could have gotten the kill here. As it is, though, Tassadar escapes. Dakomikron is dueling Thray here in the top lane, and that is a duel that Malthael will gladly take.
However, Sonya continuing to go over more sustaining route this time to try and deal with the fact that ETC has gone for the block party at level 1. We see Sonya with that cooldown reduction on her Whirlwind and the removal of roots. Now, there's only one route in the game, potentially, and it's Stukov's. And the Stukov's one also comes with a silence attached, so not viable for that. It's purely here for that cooldown reduction and for removing the slows from heroes like Rhaegar and potentially the Chromie.
Absolutely true. Stukov's route is nowhere near as reliable like let's say an Arthas or a Malfurion. So I think, as you said, it's basically for the cooldown reduction and the slow removal.
As we see that beautiful silence. Muradin focus. Kenny, the heal not off cooldown, not able to save the Muradin.
Yeah, and you could really see the value of Earth Ally, Karazim's level 4 talent. It was almost enough to soak up enough damage from those auto attacks to save Muradin's life.
But unfortunately, it was not to be. Muradin, though, he wants some revenge, and at level 7, he picks Give him the Axe.
Yeah, definitely true. I also like what Zavalash was doing here. When you play support in Heroes of the Storm, one of your key competences that you need to have is mana management. As we could see, Rhaegar was extremely low on that, so he teleported back. And even if he were to support this push, he probably wouldn't have. He probably would have made it in time with enough mana. But it looks like Rhaegar's got different plans. He's going for the bottom lane anyway. But even here, a replenished mana bar is so much more useful than facing a Tassadar with only 10%.
Punisher goes down, but one of the towers actually survived there. So
it's not too bad.
That was a very good defense by the Czech Republic, and the Netherlands not getting as much from that Punisher as they would want, but it is only the first Punisher.
Yeah, the first couple Punishers oftentimes not really too deciding here on Infernal Shrines. It is the late game Punisher that oftentimes really matters. So we've seen a couple of games where teams were dominating early over and over again, but all those Punishers weren't really doing anything, whereas that level 20 Punisher just goes to the fort, the keep, and maybe ends the game even.
So we see Deathra hovering very far back in the lane, but B-Guy moving into his rotational position. Good combo by Chromie, but Muradin is the one who is potentially easier to kill here. Drops the Stormbolt. He eats that Bronze Talon's attack. The Lightning Shield fitting damage, and they get him with the Power Slide.
And that is a clean play from B-Guy. He was waiting so patiently to use his Face Melt. Only in the nick of time did he use it to prevent the Dwarf Toss animation by Muradin. Before that, he was silenced, so he didn't have to use it. Nice observation by B-Guy, and once again underlining how strong of a tank player he is.
He has been very, very dominant in this game so far, and we have also been seeing some really good silences so far from Stukov with that ARB-based build.
You know, those are the tiny little details in the micromanagement of a hero that set the elite apart from the really, really good players. And I think you could really see how some of the players in the Nexus game have grown so much. I was going to say, Kenny is on a hunt.
Kenny was looking for it here. Resbex also finds it from every angle. Six is assaulted. The body block from Zavalash, but Kenny comes in again and picks up the kill.
Yeah, there was definitely a bounty on Chromie's head here. She was chased down by every single team member of the Czech Republic team. They get the kill, well done, but it is an even match now.
Yeah.
All heroic abilities have been unlocked.
200 XP points for whoever can bring me the head of that dome. As we do see the leap coming in from Sonya. They are committed to this Chromie murder strategy. The palm does come in from the Kharazim. He does realize Chromie is a big threat here, and potentially his team could be huge. On the other side, Tormented Souls and the flailing swipe coming in from Stukov.
Yeah, very similar approach by the Czech Republic if you compare this level 10 setup compared to Spain earlier. The leap once again seems to be the weapon of choice against that squishy backline, Stukov and Chromie, and I love all that damage that's coming in by Six. So much poking, so much bombardment without really overcommitting.
Cocktails, good poking damage, like you said. Also, the not having to commit too hard for the moment. Chromie looking for her own advantage here as they focus onto Zargonis. Dimensional shift, no palm required so far. As the counter damage, they kill off Stukov, and Tormented Souls. It is beautiful. Zargonis, though, doing huge damage from behind, and down goes the Rhaegar. It turns out the Malthael damage might not be enough, and Grey is in danger. He survives the sample. Palm keeping the Greymane alive. They begin to turn it round. They look for one more. Dark Omicron is the target, but beautiful body blocks by B-Guy.
I was going to say B-Guy literally saved Dark Omicron's life here with that beautiful beef body block. Now, something I wanted to talk about here. The mosh pit was great. However, the Malthael damage, although it hit on everybody, was too little too late. The double support, the Kharazim, the Sonya self-heal, there wasn't enough burst damage to really follow up on, and that's mostly because Chromie was forced to retreat. She was brought so low already, she couldn't participate in the
team fight anymore. Stop of silence to drop underneath it. They had issues. Speaking of issues, Muradin is alone. Kenny dashes in, gives him a little bit of movement speed with his heal as Respex is focused. Dash shield. Everything is being used on this dwarf, and he goes down.
B-Guy brings the pain once more. He's pulling it in almost a one-man show. If anyone thought ETC couldn't become a hyper carry, I prove him wrong with this replay.
And ETC, he's been, like you said, picking up lots of kills so far in this matchup, and will now perform his next trick of making the Punisher jump. But no, it's going to be Stukov who will make it go just over the wall. Tower shots will help them bring that down.
I think they've really wanted to avoid as much damage on the keep as possible. That's why they made him mini jump and not you know, with a
Not
big
a full
jump over the wall.
into that third tower range, for example. They did not want to take the risk.
Yeah, because more arcane turns would have then spawned near the keep, and that could have been a tiny amount of damage on the keep. So they played it with maximum efficiency. Team Netherlands, that is.
As Deathra will clear up that Siege Giant camp, getting some more pressure onto the mid lane, which has so far been relatively undamaged, although the minion wave has been helping out a little bit. Top lane, by the way, we did see a little insert a little bit earlier, did take quite a bit of damage thanks to a fallen Shaman camp.
Okay, now wait for the combo. Stukov is not... Oh, he was actually ready, so...
Obvious.
B-Guy's just casually denying Muradin's streams.
Come on now.
How can, he makes it look like it was nothing.
Yeah, that was less.
Casually,
that was a split second to react. Speaking of reaction, Dark Omicron does not get to, as he gets leapt on, and he will get taken out. B-Guy now also having to retreat.
Yeah, and keep in mind, guys, this is not a LAN environment. It's not like we're playing with a 5 millisecond ping here. This is online, so whatever internet connection B-Guy is using, give me some of those.
That was either incredible internet connection, that is a combination of incredible internet reaction, insane reactions, or insane predictions.
Yeah, Dutch internet for the win here. I mean, coming from Germany myself, from a third world internet country.
UK's worst, dude.
I can see that.
You know my internet, as we do see Respect holding the line for the moment, being a distraction. This time he is able to dwarf toss away.
All right, nice dodge here as well. Bizar, Gonus on the Tassadar. It looks like B-Guy wants to make a play happen, but all he was able to get is Arjamex. And now, Dakomikron with the flank. Is he going to be able to get something done here?
He's trying to focus onto that task. Good stun face melt combo. And they take down the Tassadar.
They take down the Tassadar. That is a big deal. And if you consider that Tassadar is normally a hero you do not want to focus in the first place because of his slippiness, they make it work all the time. Tassadar, one of the major engaged targets on, and that is all because of Stukov. If you plant that lurking arm underneath him, even a Tassadar can escape.
Speaking of that lurking arm, we do see that lurking arm route, despite sometimes we see that with a posture build, but in this case, he is going to try and root down enemy heroes, adding more crowd control.
The violent reaction, that is the talent we're talking about. It is going to be extremely interesting to see how much value Team Netherlands can get from that, because normally, as we said, you pair it with a W build on Stukov and not with an E build.
We do see the Czech Republic dancing around the area because they want level 16, but because of this, they are going to give up the Punisher. They did not put any contested onto this. So, Netherlands, they are still not level 15 yet, so they need as many towers here as possible to try and boost that XP number. Look at this, Tash shielding one of those towers to slow down this push.
Nice bait over the wall there as well. However, their root could become a problem. We actually saw the root coming in from the 13 talent here, but Malthael isn't even committing. Malthael realized that his soaking is going to be needed elsewhere. He also needed to deal with the Fallen Shaman camp.
This is dangerous. Timeout was used by Krobi here, so as long as this Punisher goes down quickly, the engage potential is there. Leap is available. The beautiful slowing stance will zone out the Sonya, though.
Yeah, that was a really good and timely disengage by the Netherlands. They have vision now onto their opponents. They know exactly what the Czech Republic was trying to do. And maybe the Czech Republic, they could have pulled the trigger a little bit sooner while the Punisher was still available to really surprise their opponents more.
But nothing is worse than committing to something and then having the Punisher 5-man stun you and he can see from a mosh pit under it. It's a very low chance of happening, but the risk was high enough that they did not try.
All right, what can the Czech Republic do here to really utilize their 16 talent advantage? Looks like the Netherlands don't want to fight just now. Malthael is still in the top lane doing their own Fallen Shaman camp. In the meantime, Tassadar completed the Psi Infusion quest.
Nice.
That is going to be huge. Longer radius, larger radius, and more damage is now unlocked. This is a significant power spike.
So Muradin has committed to even further engage potential with that Dwarf launch to get that extra Dwarf jump range, which is good for escape, good for engage. So yeah, I like it as well. I really usually see it comboed up with Haymaker, but in this case, he's being a good distraction and good backline damage.
I think you don't even need the Haymaker anymore these days. Like, the rework was beautiful for Muradin because it really allowed him to diversify his talent build a little bit more. Especially
give him the axe on 7.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Like 7 and 16 in particular are the most flexible talent tiers for Muradin right now. You could even go Stormform still if you need additional healing. As you said, we could still go Heavy Impact, give him the axe. Even Skullcracker was used before.
We have seen every single one of Muradin's level 7 talents, I'm pretty sure. It might be the most flexible talent tier alongside ETC 20.
Very true, and that's exactly what we want to see here. What we also want to see here, of course, with Team Netherlands.
That is unfortunate. Also, the palm is unfortunate. Yeah. That will not go off here. Unfortunately, both supports, the heroic abilities, not being used as they hoped.
Yeah, and here comes Murden jumping all the way from the top.
There
the
we go.
backup cooldown is not going to be enough, though.
Oh dear, the burst damage coming in. Sonya finds Zavalosh, the power slide too, and Zavalosh will get taken out. 4 kills coming in, 3 kills, I can't count, coming in from the Czech Republic.
I think this could be the keep here. They're destroying the wall relatively quickly. Tassadar deals so much damage now to structures and minions alike. With the Double Storm Talon at level 16, it's going to be huge, and I'm not sure if one Chromie and one Malthael could potentially defend that. Chromie, in fact, needs to be careful.
Chromie certainly can't if she is dead. However, Kenny is the one taking the keep here and has to dash back out to his allies.
And that's why you go for timeout. You can really take a quick nap in your time bubble and wait until your aggressors have to go back.
And speaking of going back, the Czech Republic do so. In the meantime, though, the Netherlands have been being sneaky, gaining value elsewhere. They lose a keep, but they're going to potentially get a long way towards the next Punisher, meaning that if they want, they can fight over this on even talents and with a cursed minion advantage.
Yeah, unfortunately, there wasn't really good communication going on between Zavalosh and Biga in the last moment. You could really see how Biga was expecting the answers a little bit earlier. He tried to go for an extremely risky
If it had landed, that would have been super cool.
That would have been a game-changing play for sure. But as it is, the Czech Republic, they capitalized heavily on it.
Yes.
They punished them as plays, and they are now in the driver's seat. I think they can really take this game if they play it very smartly and very cool now. Don't get too overzealous. That's what basically
about last game.
Exactly. That's what cost them last game.
The Netherlands still in control, and they will in fact get the Punisher. Czech Republic not wanting to contest, as they are close enough to 20 to not want to risk it. Now they are beginning to move forward with the Punisher. Netherlands, they can get this fort with no difficulty. In fact, the Czech Republic are just going to give it up, because once again, still no 20. Grey Maid don't even farm it. And they're actually having trouble farming it because all their lanes are really pushed up.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to send someone middle and especially bottom, because catapults will probably be already on their way. So there's a good news side to the Netherlands taking this Infernal Punisher, and that means it's buying them a little bit more time, but by the same token, they can't get anything more.
They didn't get the 4. If they'd pushed it a little bit further, they would have absolutely got the 4 and probably been able to retreat. Instead, they get mid 4, and top 4 is now weak enough that they can rotate up there.
Yeah, that's still at least something they get out of this. In the meantime, Malthael is pushing, and the Czech Republic, they want to go for a fight here. They realize that they've got so many advantages over their opponents. Look how Murden is actively trying to land anything on anyone he gets into his sight. The rewind!
Is the rewind from level 20. Kenny also coming in, and they're able to take down Chromie with the leap as they move forward. The way of 100 fists, but the mosh pit turnaround gets everyone, but with no Chromie, do they have the damage? The silence is huge this time as Sargonis gets popped. Beautifully done by Kenny as Deathra is very low here. Thray is causing chaos. We've seen how good a Sonya can be in this kind of situation last game as we see them moving forward. The power slide knocks back Resmex. Dark Omicron is now the target. He's taking so much damage and he's...
The juke! The Ancestral saves him! Unbelievable display. Omicron saving himself from all that damage with beautiful jukes, and then Zavalosh saved him in the nick of time, but also Sargonis is still benefiting from that Eternal Archon as long as he keeps attacking, but I think it's about to run out. Sargonis, so much damage in the previous fight, but the Netherlands hold, and the Czech Republic are not making a mistake here. They're not chasing too greedily. They're not overcommitting. This could still be their game very well.
It could still absolutely be their game. With that level 20 advantage, they have full control of the map and are taking mercenaries. They took down another fort here. And we talked about this level 20 times. We've already seen the Twilight Archon coming into play. We saw a little bit of that Hunter's Blunderbuss, the ignore pain from Sonya rewind, the opening play from Murden here. The one we haven't seen yet, because that was a beautiful bomb, the Peaceful Repose, in case he has the situation like with Tassadar earlier in the game, he can get his cooldown back.
Kenny has missed a couple of palms, very unfortunately, so I think the Peaceful Repose is definitely a good safety option here to really not get punished too hard if a palm doesn't get triggered. So, is the Netherlands going to be able to get level 20 before the Shrine phase arrives? I think it's going to be very close. Middle can be clutched, bottom can be cleared as well. Let's see if they're going to make it.
DTC is farming up some XP. Has to move to his team, though, so they might want to make a play here. Level 20 so close, and
so
Moshpit is about to come back. 4 seconds away. Ancestral in 12. Twilight Archon still not up for 25 seconds.
29 already. Here it goes.
Top 4 got it. Very nice.
That is really 4 skulls left though, Tetra. I think this could be an Arcane Punisher.
There's the stall.
Yeah, the Tassadar dominates in those moments. He's easy to land wave clear. Just got a couple of skeletons eventually, and now the Netherlands are in full retreat. This Punisher could be game. It needs to be soaked and basically baited to the middle once again.
And the Impaler's having to be cleared in the middle, because if the Punisher and the Impaler start pressuring that keep, the mid keep might actually go down here.
Okay, is history going to repeat itself, Tetra? Is the Czech Republic going to win or lose a game with this core call?
We see ETC, he's pulled it up, but it's not currently in keep range. Begins to pull it as the core is getting focused. The boss is on the way. The Punisher moving in. Leap onto Chromie, but this time she's surviving, beginning to drop the damage. The controlled chaos from Atmos. The Moshpit is very good. Pushes them further back. The damage is super solid. The Punisher onto the backline. Timeout having to be used by Chromie to keep herself alive. Respect's not doing enough damage to take down the core as he's gonna go down himself. Not enough.
The core drop.
It's down to the 2 damage dealers. The Greymane and the Sonya. Greymane taken out.
They did it.
Sonya. She's on her road, but the Punisher's with her. She goes down, kill the Punisher. The laser, the Sentinel will finish off the game. And that is going to be GG as the Czech Republic, with no one alive, will take game number 2.
And the Punisher goes in and finishes the deal. All Czech Republican heroes, they were brought to fall here, but in the end, it was the map objective that really made all the difference. Kudos to the Netherlands. They've really tried to defend it with all they've got. But in the end, the Czech Republic making it work this time.
They showed why they are a strong team and definitely worthy of note. And I gotta say, I'm proud of them. I'm proud of the Czech Republic. They played really well.
As am I. They showed that this time they learned from their mistakes in the last game, and despite all wiping on the core, the boss of the Punisher and the Arcane Sentinels did the job. Now, what have you got to show us from this? Because there's some good stuff here.
Oh yeah.
So the first replay I have for you is a key moment in the game. It's 11 versus 11, and I want you to pay attention to the Chromie comboing first. So, but she misses the Q. He gets W'd out of the silence, and Tassadar survives. Instant turnaround onto Stukov, stunning out the Veigar, so he cannot Ancestral. Shoots Mosh again from B-Guy, but look at Chromie and Deather on the left-hand side of your screen. Completely zoned out. There is no damage to go onto the members of the Czech Republic. Now, as we roll it forward, I really want you guys to watch Kenny on this Kazim. So he makes sure he kills the first one, but now he runs away from the ETC because he knows the only way someone on his team can die is if he gets CC'd. As soon as Slide is used, he's always ready to dash, saves the guy. Cocktail used slightly too early, maybe could have secured the 2 kills onto Malthel and of course ETC there, but at the end of the day, a minor mistake, and they win the fight.
Yeah, that was definitely a golden palm, if you will, and it's really cool to see how so much prediction momentum and prediction skills comes in there from the high-level players in this tournament.
Yep, absolutely. They played around the one thing that could have really got them in trouble there, and you pointed it out perfectly. What else you got for us?
So the second replay I have is an absolute crazy sequence of events. It's 20 versus 18, and they are chasing on the bot lane. Look at RZMX. So he jumps in first. The cleanse comes out. He jumps in again. He gets stunned. Now, Veigar, he stuns Veigar instead of Chromie because they know they can blow the Chromie up. And as long as Veigar can't Ancestral, that's going to be a kill. So they keep chasing. Now B-Guy, time and time again, he gets another 4-man mask. This guy is insane. He just kept getting them. So they try and go back in. Look at the value from Stukov's silence as B-Guy stuns. And then W's them to keep them in the silence. Eventually he cancels it as soon as people are out. Kenny, again though, with the Monk hits the palm. They jump out. Now it looks like they're losing, but now they can turn around. They're 20, they're 5v4. Now look at Zavalos. Look at how he plays this. So he drops the slowing totem, he drops his heal, and he always stays out of range of RZMX. That's his plan. Always using someone to body block, always being far away, and he sees the coming on top. He runs up and around to get the save, and he knows exactly what he needs to do. W first, Q after, Ancestor after that.
So many clutch plays from so many of the players in this game, and as such, the series goes to a 1-1, guys. The Czech Republic could actually win out this series.
Yeah, they could take the series home, and that could be a big deal. Maybe not for the rest of this tournament, but definitely for the mentality and for the fans at home.
Very true. Now, what would you like to see changed? We will have a quick break beforehand. That will be coming up soon. But what would you like to see changed in the third game by either of these teams?
I think the Netherlands, they need to play the early game better. Every single time they lost rotations, they got pushed in, and they had a lot of deaths. They can't allow that anymore.
I don't know if it's just that, though, because they were losing late-game team fights, and they were even 11 versus 11 out of the early game, and they still lost. So I think, honestly, they need to go away. They need to look, why are we losing? Why are we the worst team today than the Czech Republic?
Well, they're going to have a couple minutes to do so as we are going to head to a quick break. But when we come back, it will be game number 3 of the Netherlands versus the Czech Republic. Don't go anywhere.